observations and laboratory values and observations of interest. So let's see what this looks like. So as you can see, the countdown has already occurred to the time that a patient's admitted. And then you'll see in red patients that are potentials for subscribing to. That'll show up on a notification in Imprivata. As you can see, there's a subscription process where we're subscribing to patients that we want to listen in on, again on Imprivata using 720 Views real-time services. Then we're going to fetch the labs and observations of interest. These were pre-configured in a utility that you'll see later. The greens are the ones that we want to see. The reds are values that are suppressed because they're normal or not of interest. As you can see, they get messaged through Imprivata. And again, you see in green for another patient, the labs that will flow through as well as the observations, and the red ones will be held back. The countdown shows a countdown to the time that the lab results come in, so it's emulating a lab feed or an observation feed from a service. And then they show up in Imprivata. Again, what's only showing is what's in green, which was configured as labs or observations of interest for these patients. These are CHF patients, of which we have very specific thresholds and observations that we're interested in. You'll see how those are configured in just a little bit. Again, you continue to see for other test patients how we've filtered observations of interest and laboratory tests of interest. Again, the red being held back and the green going through. You would not see the red or green panels. These are just showing you the emulation as if it's being sent from an EMR. So now we'll get a little bit more into how observations are configured, whether they're laboratory or vital signs, by an administrator or by the clinician who wants to listen in on these values. So these are observation screens, editors that you'll have access to that will allow you to pretty much add any observations, group them together, set threshold values for what you want to be alerted on. And again, these are very flexible. They can be configured by an administrator or by a clinician pretty easily. Most likely it'll be an administrator, and maybe for the next pilot, we would be doing that work on behalf of Abby or anyone else who will be participating. It's very flexible. We can set any observations with any thresholds of interest for that notification purpose and edit them if needed if they start to produce too much noise or prove to not be relevant. And so this is just a completion of the setup, and now all the observations have been set up, which actually reflect what you had seen in the demo a few minutes ago. These were all driven by these configuration screens. The next few screens that you're looking at are just details under the hood for those who are more technically oriented to want to know how the data is stored, the configuration data is stored. No user would ever see this. That concludes the demo. Thank you. Observations and laboratory values and observations of interest. So let's see what this looks like.